back to you. Hi, my name is Mike Murdoch. I'm the artistic director of Alchemy Theatre. Thank you all so much for being here for our final day of New Works 2025. Woo! Everybody's very excited that it's over. Thank you for braving the weather. It's much nice, basically balmy outside today. So thank you all so much for joining us. The heat still doesn't work. Feel free to wear your jackets and blow into your hands. We have one more play to read today, and then we're going to have a fun writing sprint sort of exercise, and to learn more about that, I hand it over to our curator, Mr. Stephen Vance.
Hello. We're going to read one more play today, and then we're going to have a fun kind of speed writing sprint. That's all the difference is.
I was right.
Yeah. The play that we're doing today is by a dear friend of ours. His name is Tim McIntosh. I think he is currently in the Atlanta, Georgia area. He is a playwright, a scholar, a actor. Yeah. Nora met him through some conferences, educational conferences. Made the connection. He spoke at our West Virginia Shakespeare Festival. Some of you may remember it's the day that we practiced making up our own words and language for Shakespeare and spoke for us. He hosts a podcast called The Play's the Thing, which Nora has guest starred on twice.
3 times.
3 times. So we haven't seen the third one yet. Is that it?
There's 3. Shrew, All's Well, and Comedy Errors.
Oh, I haven't listened to the Comedy Errors yet. So
Just me, no Matt on that one.
Oh, no Matt on that one. So, check those out on, it's easy to find, The Play's the Thing. He submitted a play for us to read this weekend that has been read at a educational conference once before. We're going to put some actors to it today, and it is called Chesterton versus Shaw. Nah, it's all right. Chesterton versus Shaw, a drama about the friendly combat between G.K. Chesterton and George Bernard Shaw, by Timothy Andrew McIntosh. Characters: George Bernard Shaw, mid-40s at the start, G.K. Chesterton, early 30s at the start, every woman, narrator playing various roles at various ages. Setting: Paris and London, 1902 to 1923. Rodin's studio. Every woman putting on a dusty sculptor's smock.
First, meet me. In this scene, I am Auguste Rodin, the sculptor. You can't see my studio, but believe me, it is quite messy. Loose chisels here, a wash basin there, a blanket of dust covering everything. The first of our 2 leads might appear to be full of himself. That's because he is.
Shaw had entered and arranged himself into an artistic pose. Everyone, now Auguste Rodin, moves about Shaw, sketching him.
Auguste, I just saw the ticket receipts for my play. My play hasn't even opened and it's sold out. It should be sold out. It's the most brilliant thing I've ever written, which is saying quite a lot. It'll outrun Major Barbara. Do you know how long Major Barbara ran?
She ran a long time.
126 weeks. That's practically a geological age. It lasted longer than the Mesozoic era. But the new play is better.
Worthy of a sculptor.
Trying to corral him for his sitting.
If you weren't already planning to sculpt me, you would be. My play is called Man and Superman. It's about a woman.
A twist.
Not just any woman, but the woman. The archetypal woman. Anne Whitefield, and Anne is in a romantic contest with that most insufferable of our species, a suburban Englishman.
He falls in love.
She doesn't fall for him. She stoops to him. Why? Because she needs a donor. No sentiment, no feelings. Merely a chance to contribute toward the evolution of life. She will capture the man, subdue the man. The man is not her lover, he is her rival. For her, love is sport. Greatness requires rivalry. Belloc, precisely. Belloc was my rival, that man.
Leaps to his feet for an imitation.
Wherever the Catholic sun doth shine, there's always laughter and good red wine. You know the trouble with Belloc?
Monsieur, please.
Belloc didn't believe what he wrote. Not a word of it. Those steamy Catholic apologias, please. Relic didn't discover faith. He discovered a hole in the market.
Monsieur Shaw, for this sculpture you must sit. There is too much. And
Look at me. My vitality does not coagulate.
shh. You see my sculpture of Balzac, I make a great round man to a Greek god. How? He sit still.
When you sculpted Balzac, Balzac was dead.
And very still. If you don't sit still,
Yes?
you will look like Picasso.
I rather like Picasso. Good God, what slab is this?
G.K. Chesterton has entered wearing a cape.
Gentlemen, looking for Rue de Leon 971.
This is
Auguste Rodin works here.
He's trying to work. He's being interrupted.
Attempted wit, that must make you Judge George Bernard Shaw. Sirs, I am Gilbert Keith Chesterton. To be abstract about it, I am in Paris on business. To be specific about it, I was hoping to meet you, Mr. Shaw.
Wearing a cape and a cane.
Wife's idea. Nothing says famous writer like a cap and cane.
Do you know what else says famous writer? Being famous.
Famous for obsolete scribblings about the obsolescence of religion. It is my duty to notify you.
Delivers a card to Shaw. Turns to leave.
To notify me of what?
A challenge.
George, GKC exits.
Chesterton. I've read you in the Illustrated. You're wrong about everything, but quite good. I say, where are you going? I say, Chesterton!
Shaw pursues. Man and Superman.
the challenge began during Man and Superman. Chesterton reviewed it for the Times.
As Chesterton takes his seat among the audience, every woman transformed into Anne Whitefield.
The earth is a nursery in which men and women have one chief pursuit, one profane prayer. Make me a healthy animal. That is all I crave, for that is life. Exuberant, blossoming, tangled life. Here is my garden, let it grow.
Chesterton springs from his seat, applauding. We hear applause as Chesterton delivers her flowers.
Hurrah for you, my dear, a jewel to our stage.
Every woman bows.
He loved my performance, but Shaw's philosophy?
Shaw approaches Chesterton.
You liked it? What does mean?
How to say it?
By saying it.
A good play tells us the truth about its hero, but a bad play tells us the truth about its author.
Kissing every woman's hand.
Exquisite, my dear.
I've been reading your book. Such a medievalist.
Too kind.
Chesterton exits.
Behave, Gilbert, or I'll write a play about you.
Minso Shepernoon.
After reading Chesterton's review in the Times, he did put Chesterton into a play. The character was a heady medievalist named
Chesterton is back on stage as Minso Champeroon with a cape and a cane.
Immenso Chapernoon.
Sort of a Falstaffian cosmologist. Loudmouth, grandiose, hungry.
Every woman has become Mrs. Smith.
You are the worst flirt, Mr. Champernoonen.
Flirt.
Yes, you're the most incorrigible flirt in all of England.
I am the most happily married man in all of England.
No, you don't flirt with women. You flirt with the outdated politics, old-time religion, gluttony, drunkenness.
I do not flirt with gluttony and drunkenness. We're actually quite in love.
If you flirted with dairymaids, I could forgive you, but with Catholicism? With Thomas Aquinas, no. You are wasting your gifts and driving your legitimate lover mad with jealousy.
My legitimate lover, a vegan socialist with a penchant for radicalism? No.
If you won't make me your mistress, at least divorce those ghastly old ideas.
Madame, those old ghastly old ideas are not my mistresses. They hold my deepest affections. Is the church corrupt? Of course. But that's the crusty shell of prohibitions and professional priests. Inside, you will find human life dancing like children and drinking wine like men. That's where to find me. Now, excuse me, I'm very late for a very large dinner.
Chesterton exits as Shaw enters. Every woman is now Charlotte, wife to Shaw.
Charlotte! The reviews are in on that Chesterton satire. Charlotte!
Darling, Janet Archert wrote about the girl's tuition. If not us, the girl doesn't go.
Pay it.
Tuition is quite a bit, actually.
The girl needs it, pay it.
How are the reviews? Don't tell me.
Tossing aside one paper.
How absurd!
I meant to lampoon Chesterton, and they liked him.
And they say he was damned likable. We should have him over.
My dear Champernoon was a fiction.
Chesterton, silly man. Could be fun.
And cavort with the enemy.
Enemy. Rival. And you need him.
I'm going out to find a better review.
Bernard.
Praxis, not just doctrine.
Shaw picks up the paper, walks off center. Shaw's challenge.
The Champernoon play made Chesterton. Thanks to Shaw, he became a famous writer.
Dear Shaw, I've dispatched with my cape and cane since your mockery became a tribute. Cordially yours and etc. Gilbert.
Dear Gilbert, I meant to insult you. So raise your blade, man. Rise to the challenge. Reply in a play, not another fatuous essay.
You're the playwright. I'm the essayist. But I have an idea. A debate.
A debate? Have you seen me debate? You're overmatched, dear boy. My last debate opponent. May he rest in peace. No, I demand a drama. If you don't write a play, I shall take to the papers. I'll vaunt my superiority in soldier corpulence and torture Hilaire Belloc on the rack.
I thought you were a pacifist.
Desperate times, man.
Situational pacifist.
Every man has his breaking point.
We found yours.
Take up your pen, Chubby.
Chesterton retreats to his study. Every woman has become Frances.
Gilbert? I say, Gilbert, are you home? I'm off to the grocer.
Francis?
Yes, dear.
Francis, where are you going?
To the grocer, Gilbert.
Do you think I could best Shaw?
In wrestling? I'd say yes.
As a writer?
I thought you liked Shaw.
That's not an answer.
I mean, as a friend.
I do.
As an opponent, he's formidable. One of our great minds. I think we should have him for dinner.
Are you trying to soften the blow?
Darling, it was a debate. He'd not stand a chance. Back in a click.
Where are you going?
Gilbert.
Every woman steps away. Chesterton returns to his study. Shaw communicates through a letter.
Gilbert, my sources say you're deep at work. I am delighted.
Bernard, I'll take up your challenge to a public clash, but not in the form of a play.
Gilbert, you're every bit as immovable as your size suggests. Let me guess. Another essay.
No, a book.
Book.
A slim little volume, inside entirely of pith, not unlike yourself.
What, may I ask, is the title of this book?
George Bernard Shaw.
Yes.
That's the title. The title is George Bernard Shaw.
Ah. What's it about?
The book about Shaw.
In the book, Chesterton accuses Shaw of failing to understand one basic truth.
The man cannot accept two truths at once.
To Chesterton, this was a fatal flaw.
God has organized the universe according to paradox. Paradox is the fundamental substructure of the world. Jesus Christ himself is both God and man. He taught us in those paradoxes. He that shall lose his life shall save it. The last will be first, and the first shall be last. But Mr. Shaw abhors paradox. When two opposite truths resolve, Mr. Shaw rages.
Critics said Chesterton's book was the best book on Shaw ever written. Even Shaw approved.
This book is what everybody expected it to be. The best work of literary art that I have yet provoked.
Magic, the play.
Dear Gilbert, it's a fight you like? Very good. Enter my arena.
You wrote a plot.
St. Augustine returns to England to see if it is still a Christian country. To make the trip, St. Augustine must borrow the body of a living man. Whose body does he choose?
Let me guess.
The body of an Anglican bishop.
Good.
Complications ensue because when Augustine wears the bishop's body, no one is quite sure what to do with the bishop's soul. It could be stored in heaven, but he's an English bishop.
And has no interest in going to heaven.
Precisely.
Very clever. But Bernard, As a playwright, I am outmatched. Why not a debate?
No.
Just a teeny one.
Teeny, if I take part, the debate cannot be small.
Fine. Let's reserve Albert Hall.
Mrs. Shaw thinks we should ask you to dinner. Can you imagine? A Catholic and a modernist. A protost and a green bean. We might actually enjoy each other and it would ruin us. After all, you're selling more books now. Let's up the stakes. Until you write a play, I shall strike closer to home.
Chesterton is now searching for something. Where has he put it? Enter Mrs. Chesterton.
Gilbert, I just received the post.
Dear, I can't seem to...
A most interesting letter.
Francis, I say I can't seem to find...
Her eyes never leaving the letter, she takes the hat off his head and hands it to him.
Ah!
It's from a friend of yours.
What is?
This.
Is it Elliot? I never got back to it.
It's from Mr. Shaw.
Sure.
He says you won't write a play, so...
So he wrote you.
My dear Mrs. Chesterton.
Chesterton grabs the letter. Francis reads it from beside him.
Enclosed is another plot for a play. Gilbert has refused the first. This one is a religious harlequinade meant to insult, taunt, and provoke. My proposal is that I read the plot to him at your house on Sunday, and that you, Francis, fall into transports of admiration for it. Declare you can never love a man who cannot write a thing like that, and definitively announce that if Gilbert has not finished a worthy draft before the end of the 3rd week of May, you will go out like the lady in the Ibsen play, whatever the dark threat may mean.
I'll be in my study.
Chesterton retreats and begins to write furiously. Leaves of paper drift to the ground.
On our first date, Gilbert admitted that if we married, all the housework would fall to me. Our first date! He said I'd have to do all the grocery shopping because he couldn't keep a list. Not a grand start to a date. To humour him, I asked what sort of groceries would he want. His answer won me completely. He said, "Buy us the luxuries of life, and we will dispense with the necessities." Hearing that, I knew I would marry him. And I can say he's a man of his word. He cannot keep a list. He never shops. You can't find his hat. But life with Gilbert is magic. We dine with dragons and invite griffins to sleep in the spare room.
Chesterton emerges from his study.
My dear, I know I swore never to put you in a book.
I smell a loophole.
And I didn't put you into a book. I put you into a play.
Gilbert!
Hear me out.
No, I will not hear you out.
The title is Magic.
Magic. That's it? Just magic?
And it stars a brilliant, charming woman
Go on.
who is also quite beautiful, who believes in the everyday magic of genuine faith.
I don't hate it.
At the top of the play, her adoring husband just bought her the latest hat from Lock & Company.
Produces a hat. Magic. Chesterton's play.
Oh, Gilbert.
Every woman becomes Mrs. Smith from Magic.
Plot twist. The elegant woman is visited by the egads, a modern rationalist.
Ooh, hiss.
Others may moan about the modern age, Mrs. Smith. I embrace it. Up with science.
Down with superstition.
Down with superstition.
You believe in advancement.
In political progress.
In women's rights.
In fact, I wrote a play about women's rights.
What's it called?
Man and Superman.
You want women to have the vote, to be trusted with the practical issues of home and house. You believe women are rational beings.
More rational than most men.
Yet, if the woman rises for early service at church, you call her irrational and say that nobody but women can believe in religion.
I respect religion.
Within the narrow bonds of science.
Mrs. Smith, I did not come here to discuss science or religion or magic.
Oh, yes, you did, because you were talking to me. The world is a fairy tale, my dear Duke, despite your arguments, theories, and raps on the table. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm having a dragon over for dinner.
She moves off center.
Ah!
Chesterton delivers roses to every woman as she takes a bow. Shaw approaches Chesterton.
Since you wrote a play, I owe you a favor.
Oh,
I have just the thing.
what is it?
Well, you'll read about it in the papers on Monday.
As Shaw walks off center, Chesterton snatches up a newspaper and reads. Shaw lectures. The stage transforms into a lecture hall.
On Monday, every London paper wrote about Shaw's lecture. It was a bombshell.
Good God.
The lecture was a challenge to England to rebuild after the First World War upon a different foundation, a foundation other than religion.
Every woman delivers the intro to Shaw's lecture.
Welcome to the Heretics Club. Our guest tonight is our most esteemed playwright since Oscar Wilde. With no further ado, Mr. George Bernard Shaw.
Not only is Europe in the rubble of a great war, so is her religion. The church has failed. That is the backdrop to my lecture. As a young man, I was an atheist, and I thanked God for it. But now, I see something. Behind the random clash of atoms there, something in the mist. Potency. Some spirit that derives us. Every man, woman, and child. I call it the life force.
After the lecture,
This life force performed the miracle of creation.
neighbors gossiped,
The life force surges relentlessly,
barrooms debated,
a tumbling magma flowing from each living being.
Parliament divided.
Organized religion cools this volcanic tide of life.
Was Shaw proposing the replacement of traditional Christian religion?
Organized religion is the inert crust of a once highly reactive magma. Instead of serving a crusty religion, let us again serve humanity. Let us challenge the life force, for ourselves, for each other. Thank you.
Massive applause. Every woman now speaks as member of the audience.
Mr. Shaw, what would replace the pleasure of our church liturgy?
A better liturgy.
What would make for a better liturgy?
Symphonies of Beethoven, the poetry of Wordsworth, the plays of George Bernard Shaw.
Shaw bows, exits.
The Heretics Club loved his speech. But now the conservative press...
Now in a newsboy's cap as a newspaper callboy.
G.B. Shaw lecture espouses atheist doctrine, calls Christ a failure, patriotism to be replaced by socialism. The conservatives demanded a public rebuttal. If only they could find the right man.
Chesterton lectures. Chesterton appears at the lectern.
My name is G.K. Chesterton. Before I begin, a word. The conservative press wrote many strong editorials opposing the lectures delivered by Mr. Shaw in this very hall. Let me share my opinion about these articles. They were spirited, vigorous, and opinionated idiocy. Mr. Shaw stated an obvious truth from this lectern. The Christian religion has failed in England.
Because Chesterton mocked at the conservative press,
For this, the conservative press called Mr. Shaw a sacrilegious heathen,
the Heretics Club liked Chesterton.
which is a little like calling Emperor Tiberius a pagan because he worshipped Roman gods. Tiberius worshipped Roman gods. He was a pagan. It's neither an insult nor a compliment. It's simply a fact. Mr. Shaw has simply stated a fact. Christianity has failed in England. I stand before you tonight not to defend a collapsed idea, but in defense of the original. Now, I am a Catholic,
And when Chesterton laughed at himself,
a rather large one at that.
we loved him.
A lady in London asked why I was not out at the front. I replied, if you go round to the side, you'll see that I am out at the front.
He also had a laugh at Shaw.
My friend Bernard once told me that if he were as fat as me, he would hang himself. I replied that if I were to hang myself, I would use him for the rope.
So rich.
But enough about Shaw. It's foolish to explain a man whose whole object through life has been to explain himself. I shall instead talk about what Mr. Shaw calls my hobby. I call it my deepest passion, the Catholic faith. I will now mount a defense of that passion. A foolish pursuit indeed in our age when the very act of defending virtue has all the exhilaration of a vice.
By the end, our heads were with Shaw.
As a Catholic, I believe in the Bible. That strange book includes many strange commands,
But our hearts...
like love your neighbor and your enemy, probably because they are the same person.
Shaw joins Chesterton on stage, applauding. Both fast, and the applaud ends.
Mr. Chesterton, an idea. Let's you and I discuss terms for a debate over your favorite meal, which I believe is your next meal.
Both men exit, applauding each other. A lunch for Titans. Every woman, now a waiter, brings a small table.
For months, the London papers covered both men. Front pages, essays, back page gossip. Who would triumph? The vegetarian socialist or the Catholic Epicurean?
Shaw at the table. Chesterton joins with a menu.
Why have a lamb shake when you can have 2 lamb shanks?
And you, sir?
Water.
Every woman exits with menus.
You don't take much seriously, do you?
No, it's a mark of wisdom.
Uh-huh.
Subject, religion?
Everything. Free-ranging and open-ended. Give the people what they want, right, Gilbert?
Exactly. For moderator, I say H.G. Wells.
Too abstract. Hardy.
To try. I have it, Belloc.
Belloc. The only man I know who can strut while sitting down. No.
I thought you were friends.
I thought so too. You can't be friends with a man like that. Can I be friends with a man like you?
Gladly.
Friends tell each other the truth. So tell me the truth about all this.
The truth is their reputation was made on their Welsh rarebit, but it's their worst dish.
No. This.
This.
This show. Don't get me wrong. It's good for both of us. Rising sales, praise from our tribes. But come on, back to the original, the magic of faith. Just between us. I promise.
Do you believe everything you say?
Every word. You?
Lies set the truth in high relief.
Yes, it does.
The two sit in silence as every woman brings a plate and a water. After a moment, Shaw rises.
Fine. Have Belloc. They'll see.
Shaw exits. After a moment, Chesterton too. The debate.
Exhausted boxers cling to each other, but not fresh fighters. And the night was young.
We hear the murmur of the crowd. Shaw has arrived on stage. Checks his watch.
When the moment arrived, Chesterton missed it by an hour. He took the wrong bus, the wrong stop, and forgot his coat.
Chesterton arrives in a flutter of notes.
But not my hat.
He wears no hat.
Gentlemen, ladies, my name is Hilaire Belloc. Tonight's combatants requested me as moderator and liberty in the debate rules. These I have granted. Tonight's title is The Democrat, The Socialist, and The Gentleman.
Applause. Shaw takes the stage.
Mr. Chesterton and I have a mountain of differences between us. So many that it's hard to know where to find the first foothold. Since I know he is not a socialist, that's where I'll make my first step. My thesis is stated in the most insulting and personal way possible. A modern man who is not a socialist is not a gentleman. What is he instead? He is a cad. I yield the floor.
Applause.
Mr. Shaw begins his algebraic formula with these 3 undefined quantities. Modern, socialist, gentleman. Let me attempt definitions. First, we're both modern in that we were born in the modern world. Second, I'm not a socialist, and Mr. Shaw is. Third, as to whether we are gentlemen, let the debate decide.
Applause.
And they were off, beginning with the Christian religion.
No!
Yes.
The Christian religion is like all other religions, a noble attempt to shape God out of a mankind's deepest longings. Today we see that it has been tried and found wanting.
The Christian religion has not been tried and found wanting. It has been found difficult and left untried.
Private property.
No!
Yes.
I'm for the collective ownership of everything, including property, by the state.
I favor private property, not because it hurts the poor, but because it's the best thing for the poor.
Man, have you ventured from your study in the last century? Look at St. Giles. The only healthy tenets are starvation and despair. What overlooks St. Giles? Mansions, privately owned. Yet you still believe that capitalism and private property work.
No one but a devil has ever defended capitalism. I am no capitalist. I'm a distributist.
The debate burned for about an hour, hinging on a technical point, private ownership.
You say factories and farms should be widely owned. Fine, we agree. The difference between you and me is that I support state ownership and you equivocate.
I do not equivocate. I shall answer.
You don't really believe what you say.
I most certainly do, and I will answer
You're playing to tie.
if you could just, for just a moment, I have an answer. Excuse me, Look, the distributist ideal begins at home. The most important place in the world is the home.
Touching.
All the important things occur at home. Eating, singing, reading, writing.
Yes.
Inside the home, real human relationships can form. Given this, every man should have his own.
Lovely, but
But Chesterton never quite answered.
Shaw and Chesterton bow, shake hands coldly, exit. Between battles.
Everyone agreed that the debate was brilliant for exactly the opposite reasons by exactly the opposite sorts of people. Socialists said Shaw, conservatives said Chesterton. Then passions cooled, calendars turned, time, as they say, passed. Shaw wrote triumphs like Pygmalion.
That's Henry Higgins.
have you no morals, woman?
Can't afford 'em, governor. Neither could you if you was as poor as me.
I shall train some morals into you and that dreadful accent out of you.
Anything you say, Mr. Higgins.
Bravo, Shaw, bravo. What an achievement.
Ah, Chesterton, we should talk.
They did not talk, even as Chesterton scored victories with a crime-solving detective priest.
Father Brown looked puzzled. He sat with knotted brow and then said to the criminal, "You see, all men matter. You matter, I matter, we matter to God. God only knows why."
He also contracted an illness. The two men lived in respective castles, chieftains over rival tribes, until a chance encounter on a rainy night.
Conversation in Chelsea.
Bernard,
Gilbert,
In Chelsea, at a dinner party.
what a surprise. You aren't drunk.
what a surprise. You're stone sober.
You know what I find intoxicating? Reality.
Guests gathered around, pretending not to eavesdrop. One guest, Hesketh Pearson, was a trained stenographer.
Every woman furiously scribbles as Shaw and Chesterton talk.
Having had not a drop of ale today, I am suffering from delirium tremens.
Lad.
Condemn not for non-intelligent.
They condemn what they do not understand.
Ah!
You're right, Gilbert. I do not understand how a man of your caliber can believe what you believe.
This again. I believe I will have a drink.
I wanted a true believer, but you don't believe.
But Bernard, I do.
Do you? Let's see. The Catholic Church sainted a Peruvian priest named Martin de Porres. Why? For his ability to be in two places at once. Japan and Peru. Mexico and Siberia. At the same time. Now tell me, do you want me to believe that you believe this? I don't. Condemnant quo non intelligent.
May I?
5 years ago, you said my problem is that I don't understand Catholicism. That is not my problem. Do you know what my problem was? My problem was that I believed you. I did. Back to the original. Back to the priest. Back to the bottle. Whether you seriously believe this, I do not know. But when I press you to state your point, you evade the point.
Points are made to be evaded. Consider the history of the rapier.
There's so much suffering in the world, such yawn and inequity. But instead of setting your mind against these evils, you pirouette.
You have no standpoint.
You're right. Actually, have two.
Another leap into the fantastic.
No. This is me, Bernard. No rhetoric. This is me. I have 2 points of view. This one and this one. We are primordial mud and more than primordial mud. I am a skeptic and a believer. I believe in God and I believe in man. As a Catholic, I see the mud and the silver. For you, there is only one here. There is no there. I wonder if you're right. Of course. What's more, I endorse your protests against our soft tolerance of these injustices. They are more Christian than most Catholic homilies.
You don't believe that.
Every word.
Then step this way.
I can't.
You won't.
I can't because I remain thankful. I must have someone to thank.
Long silence. Shaw rises, then Chesterton.
I can see that you do.
Shaw steps away. Epilogue. Every woman returns to her role as narrator.
And after that rainy night, more time, as they say, passed. Your stars faded, some bright young things grabbed London's attention.
Who?
No new writers. Aldous Huxley, Evelyn Waugh.
War is good.
Of course you'd say that. He's a Catholic. But Huxley,
He's a kook.
Huxley's a talent.
Your graying years have arrived.
Graying years.
It sounds dangerously like an epilogue. My dear, take it from a playwright. Epilogues occur when the protagonist has died.
No.
Not me. Me? The fit vegetarian teetotaler dies before the over-buttered scone. Proof there is no God.
Over buttered? Me?
Oh,
I'm 18 years younger than him.
Gillian. You drank like a fish. And you ate like a catfish.
Congestive heart failure.
Oh, my dear boy. How does Mrs. Chesterton take it? What?
2 more years.
2? Oh, Gilbert.
But there's the afterlife. I go first. I laugh last.
We planned dozens of times to have you two to dinner.
Good news. You live until 1950.
14 more years. Bother. Please don't tell me how I spent them.
Surrounded by a coterie of friends.
Why I both need and hate. I'm disappointed in myself.
And Mrs. Shaw?
You outlive her by 7 years.
God.
7 years without Shaw.
A bit of good news?
Finally! This play is desperate.
You debated again.
No.
Packed crowds, live on the BBC. Paid quite well, too.
Murder!
Look at us. Religion again.
Politics?
Marriage, economic sainthood.
The title of your debate was, Do We Agree?
No!
At the end of the debate, you agreed that you don't.
Merciful Father.
Thank God.
Gilbert Keith Chesterton, June 14, 1936.
Did you attend?
At a Catholic church.
Good point.
You did write an obituary.
I now see the worst thing about death. Shaw gets the final word.
Every woman has handed Shaw the obituary. Having silently read it, Shaw is too overcome to read it aloud. He hands it back to her.
I never knew any man of such levity with so much seriousness in him. Gilbert was a child of light who could never grow up. He will be as hard to forget as a child who died yesterday. Life will be duller now that he is gone.
Chesterton confirms this with everyone.
If I had the final word, it would be friend. I hope to see you again, Bernard. Over there.
As they shake hands warmly,
Sorry, Gilbert. Can't afford the rent. On with this.
end of play. Is Tim in the building?
Tim, did you make it?
Did you drive up in the snow? No, we're gonna do a little bit of a talk back. Interested to hear what you guys thought. I'll start with Nora because this is the second time that you've been through this.
Yes, I've been through this.
Third time you've been. So you got to see it at the educational conference.
Yes.
Was it a reading then, or was it acted out?
It was a reading then, but they did do a little bit of staging with it. I believe every woman changed costumes quite a few times.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anything different pop out this time around that you didn't?
Sure, certainly, because I studied it, myself rather than just being in the audience and listening to it. There's a lot of depth in it, and a lot of study behind these two men, and honestly behind a lot of characters I play. They're all historical people, real people. It's heavy. There's a lot of heavy philosophy in a lot of it. So I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed getting several passes at it.
Yeah. Guys, what do you have to say about these characters that you brought to life from real life?
All right. I've enjoyed Chesterton in the reads that we've done of this. I like him, and I did. I was wondering about the dialect. If I was getting anywhere close to wherever he was from and all that. He has a very distinct cadence. Lots of halting, and I decided not to do that. Spare you guys the extra half hour. But I like his philosophy, and I enjoy the manic nature of him.
Do you think that these guys were truly friends?
I think absolutely. I mean, as much of friends as these two guys can have, I think that they were. They're and that happens a lot. I think between certainly like philosophers and famous people and people that debate each other a lot. I think that there's a mutual respect that two great minds have for each other, and some regret that they were never really as personal or personable as they wanted to be.
I think in more modern terms, I have heard, and somebody can tell me I'm wrong later in the comments, that Scalia and RGB were really close, or RBG. That they were actually really close, and they spent a lot of time together, like social time together. And I would think that when you're at the very pinnacle of what you do, you have to find those kind of people to be around, because I don't know what kind of what are you going to talk about how somebody did the laundry that day? Like, what do you guys have out there? I see a lot of people out there. Chris.
I wonder why. I can't ask him, but I wonder why the advice to just use a single. It's written that way for a single actress to play all the women.
Yeah.
That's so. I just wonder why. Just because they're smaller parts, or I wonder.
Saves money.
Saves money, right?
Well, it calls back to Shaw's first play, right?
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's. I can't remember. The script describes it as an every woman, right?
Any woman, yeah.
Yeah.
You're talking about Man versus Superman?
Yeah.
The one that's mentioned in the script?
Yeah, it's in the text something about every woman,
So a little meta.
I can't remember.
But I like
I
the-
think so, but
like the
I also
device.
think because the focus of the play is supposed to be the relationship between those two, so I wonder if that is in service of that.
Yeah, I mean, it plays either way. Like, because I think that's what you think. Yeah, Rachel.
Would you be willing to share about how you selected this play for this new play workshop or festival? Excuse me.
Well, Tim was with us a year and a half ago. He's working on a Kierkegaard play. He really, if you haven't noticed, he likes historical philosophers. It's not ready yet. Like he is getting deep in the weeds with that. And he had this material available, and we know that we want to work with him. Like he's great. Nora's worked with him on multiple occasions now. And when this became available, we were like, yeah, we're going to do this. Like
We pushed him for the Kierkegaard play first, to even have a reading of it, and he wasn't comfortable with where it was at
He
currently.
texted me an update, so I think we'll see it someday.
But he had this ready, and so he sent this in its stead.
and the idea of the Kierkegaard one, I don't want to give away anything yet because he's working on it, but it's going to be cool. Like I hope we get to play around with it some because it's fun. What else you got? Is that Nick?
Just shit.
Just shifting.
Do we know how much of what they said to each other was actually something they said to each other that you found, that were letters?
I certainly
The
think all the
debates.
debates were probably transcripted. Certainly the ones on TV were their personal stuff. I don't know. Although that last time they ran into each other at that party, the stenographer thing is pretty specific. So I think somebody must have decided to write down that conversation. But as far as their like personal interactions, I don't know.
I thought he did a good
I'm sure
job
Tim knows.
of bringing that same kind of take, I guess, on it.
Yeah, he found their voice really well
Yeah.
even when he was writing the dialogue. Like if you get enough footage of somebody's sound, then it makes it easier for you to replicate it.
Yeah. How did you feel about George?
What I know about George Bernard Shaw as a playwright is, I know his plays, but I also know that I literally have it in the office in there. He wrote a preface to all of his stuff, and the book is this thick. It's just prefaces to his stuff.
Encyclopedia of prefaces.
Just prefaces. Like, doesn't even have the plays in it. Like, it's just the prefaces.
He had a lot to say.
And he was known for writing copious stage directions, and he wrote everything out because he never trusted anybody to do what he wanted them to do,
And
which I completely understand.
I've read Matchmaker, which is the straight play version of Hello Dolly before it came out, and some of that stuff in the Hat Shop is like beat by beat what Cornelius has to be doing. Like I was just reading it whenever we were doing the show, and I was like, oh my gosh, this guy, he had a picture. He definitely had a picture and wanted everybody to know what those pictures were.
I have to believe that when they made My Fair Lady out of Pygmalion, that he probably turned over in his grave.
Is it after 19?
That's maybe he loved it. I don't know. He seems to have a good sense of humor.
I think it's interesting. Within the scope of this play, we learn that Shaw is quite a bit of a philosopher and an activist, really. But his chosen medium is plays, right? So he chooses to make his statements and to fight the socialist fight that he believes so passionately about through writing plays. Which that his time period was a different one than this one, but it's not really that far removed. And so I think that's I just think that's an interesting thing to think about.
He died in 1950, and so I find it fascinating too. Like the trouble with geniuses is this: there's nothing.
We always have this.
There's nothing that they can't do, which is what's wildly what I find fascinating about this play. Like yes, he wrote plays, but also he was like, all right, well, if you're not going to write plays, then I'm going to write an essay, or I'm going to write a book. And then Chesterton would do the same thing. And Chesterton was like, well, then I'll write a play. It finally forces him to write a play, and Chesterton writes a play, and it's very successful. And so it's like, these guys, there's nothing they can't do. There's nothing they can't write. There's no form that they can't take. And I think that was another thing that sort of drew them to each other, was that they, regardless of what their chosen thing was, anything they would throw at each other, the other one would eventually take up the thing and say, okay, well, I'll do that too then. And they were very well matched to each other.
I fact checked myself. Matchmaker was Thornton Walder, but I'm going to lump him in that group.
That's
too.
Well, yeah, they're his stage.
I really enjoyed. I'm sorry.
His stage direction, yeah.
I really enjoyed the after their first debate, the line about the conservatives will take away from this thing.
Mm-hmm.
That each side is going to take away we won because of this.
Claim a win, right?
Yeah, which doesn't sound familiar at all. It's
But-
weird that we're so unbiased today.
But the difference is those two groups will go fight each other forever, and those guys will sit down and have dinner if they invite each other over.
Exactly so, and I think that's. I mean, I don't want to speak for Tim, but I would, if I had written this play, that would be the thesis, right? Is that these are fundamental, very basic worldview differences that these men, according to the play, absolutely never came together on. They never agreed.
And he doesn't try to solve those problems.
Absolutely
in the play.
not. But what a cool relationship that they had, and how much respect and admiration they had for each other, even with the most fundamental of differences.
Yeah, and I enjoyed that Chesterton's largest problem with so much was that he had an earthly and a heavenly viewpoint of sorts that made it impossible for him to come to grips with several things completely, which I enjoy. I kind of identify with that.
Absolutely, yeah.
That is a great note for you guys to take home and think about for the rest of your life. Thanks. Thank you, Tim, for submitting your work. We are going to transition into the part of the program that I am always excited about since we've done it one whole time. It is our playwriting sprint, whatever we're going to call it. We haven't made up a name for it, I don't think, unless we just keep saying it over and over again and something ends up happening. We did this last year. The genesis of this is Mike and I have been going to local high schools for the last several years since we started this at Alchemy, and giving students the opportunity to write, giving them let them know that the door is open for them to write plays. Nick, who is sitting on the front row, was one of the very first participants in those, and he keeps coming back, but we haven't been able to get rid of him yet. So it worked for him, and this year the texture was a little different because we had a couple homeschoolers this year that were able to get involved. But what we do is we go in and just kind of give them a brief idea of what a play is, and a play is storytelling with dialogue up in front of an audience. It's different than a novel. It's a sister or a cousin to movies and television and all that. But we just talk about that a little bit in nature, just to get a little bit get them on their feet. That's the main thing. Just start writing. If you haven't noticed anything from the theme of this weekend, it's important just to get pen to paper or finger to keyboard and just start typing something. Try something. And those that have done it know it's not easy. It can be frightening because you're putting it out and you have no idea what your own work looks like, let alone what other people are going to think of your work. So it can be scary. But the rules are pretty simple that we give them. We tell them to keep it in a single location, especially for a 10-minute play. Like, keep it in one time, one location. Don't be jumping through city to city to city to country to whatever. Because as a director, I'm probably not going to produce that because I can't technically. The other thing is, don't just rely on you thinking that you're funny, because everybody else probably doesn't think you're funny. And the main thing is, tell a self-contained story. We have stories all day. We walk up and down the hallways. We sit at the water cooler at work, wherever. When we have human interactions, we're telling stories. The other thing I tell them to do is don't put 16 characters in it, because it's really hard to cast enough 16 characters in a full-size play, let alone a 10-minute play. So the main idea is just getting up and getting done. And people are like, I don't know where to start. I have writer's block. Well, fortunately for you, Gracie, or the law firm of Gracie Baumgartner over here, has 3 sealed, not sealed envelopes that have some prompts. I have a location, an item, and a quote. And I'm going to ask you to pick one from each of those. What we're going to do is we're just going to write. We're going to sit and write. Anybody that wants to participate, write. You want to write it on your phone, write it on your phone. You want to grab some pen and paper, we can probably find you those things. I have an extra laptop in the booth that I can probably let somebody borrow if you didn't bring a device to write on. Do you need to know how to format it? No. Do you need to be able to share it later? Yes, because what we're going to do is in exactly 1 hour after the last prompt is drawn, we are going to come up here and we're going to read our plays. You can cast them with anybody that you want to cast that's in the room that you can get a hold of, or outside the room if you can get a hold of them. But there's enough prompts for everybody to do it by themselves. If you want to work together in teams, that's fine too. Teams are always great because you got to keep moving, because an hour disappears really, really quickly. And telling an entire story in a play in an hour. How long should that play be? Please, not an hour. If you can do that, that's really impressive. But we want to wrap the festival up this way. We're going to give you guys an opportunity to see what it's like to be inside the playwright's mind. Many of you have participated in this before and have enjoyed it because you came back. And most everybody came back that did it last year. So take a couple minutes, see if there's somebody you want to write with. If you don't want to write, that's okay too. If you say, I just want to read something, that's okay too. If you want to write by yourself, that's fine too. But the prompts are going to be fun. Take 1 minute to decide who you're writing with. If you're going to write with anybody, make friends with somebody real quick, and then we'll play. Oh, Gracie, will you come and take a picture of us acting like we're reading?
Yeah. Do you want your phone or?
Nora's got it. She's got the new thing.
Yeah.
Like we're reading that.
No, we don't have to. We can just smile. It's okay.
Okay, we're looking at
It's
the
fine.
camera.
Yay.
All right.
Gracie.
Who is writing out there? Let me turn some lights on. You're already paused out in that minute. Yeah, will you flip the lights on?
I've got a leak under the house.
Oh God.
So he's gonna write. So John, I assume you're writing.
We can tell
You
Jen
have,
the news.
you have a team?
Well, I mean, she said we could fix the leak.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Olivia, are you writing with your dad, or would you like a good writing partner?
My dad.
You're gonna write with your dad. Sheila, you gonna write? Oh man, yours was one of my favorite ones last year. Rachel, you gonna write?
Yeah.
All right. Do you need a laptop or something?
I'll use my phone.
Okay. Because I actually have an actual laptop up there.
If you're writing, come down here.
Yeah. 'Cause
That's how that works.
Send a representative from whoever you're writing. Todd, are you writing?
I sent myself from me.
John, you want to write with Todd?
Let's try. I got
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I do.
I can't type it.
All right. So we have people who are writing. We'll reconvene. What time is it? I don't have a clock.
I got you. I'll set the timer.
Set it for 1 hour and 5 minutes. That'll give us
We're
time.
now in 5 minutes?
Yeah, that'll give us time.
Okay, we got it. Got it.
Kia, are you writing something?
I'll be the stage manager.
You're writing check. Is Cindy out there?
Yes,
See if
she
wants
is.
to write something.
I think she's left.
Oh.
Hey, Blair.
Blair, I want to write too.
Yeah, he was.
All right, a representative from each team is here.
Where's Blair?
Bert, that sting is also terrible.
Come on, bud.
This is
Blair.
Blair, Dr. Green.
It looks like a quote. Everybody
That
draw
sounds
a
like a good
quote.
Sounds like people writing things down.
John, come on down. Rachel, come on down.
Oh, great. Let's see what I have to incorporate.
We actually have a couple extra laptops for you. There's that. Claire, you drawing for your dad's team?
I'm drawing for my team.
You drawing for your own team?
You want to write your own play, or you want to help with us?
No. I'm not drawing my own because I'm a big boy now. I'm a preteen.
All right.
All right. What are you writing on?
All right.
I'm not telling you.
Don't go too far, because here's the thing that I'm going to allow you to do. Once we draw these, you can have up to one gimme and put it back and draw again. So if you hate everything, you draw this. So the quote, you don't have to use the quote directly. It just needs to be thematically represented in your play. This is an item. So grab your item. This item actually has to be used in the context of the play. So,
Watch. It just isn't in there. They're like, well,
Why?
They're all great
That's
items.
so random. That did not.
well, you omitted
You said you were a big
the
boy,
item
didn't
that you
you?
said you would include.
Do you want to write with us?
I'll work with you.
Or do you want to work with Sheila? Okay.
That's
All right.
to keep my feet.
No, we got some.
Alright, then I'm not working with you.
This is a location, and yes, it does have to happen in this location. This is where the play
I do
takes
as well.
place.
They're good.
I thought about writing, like, Ian was talking about, like, ghost story, drama, all that kind of stuff, and I was like, I'm not doing all that.
How does this work?
We can work under these conditions.
You're gonna have to use all of these things in your play.
Alright, so, but it's just a one person play?
It can be a one-person play.
Yeah. Those are always good.
So
Alright.
wait, does that mean somebody else could be in my play?
Yeah,
I think you're more like Rachel.
yeah. All right.
Ask your
So, does anybody want a free redraw of anything that you picked?
Oh no,
Yeah.
I love my statement.
Yeah.
I think I can do this.
Put your foot back in there.
Are you sure you don't want to come with us and work with us?
No,
Okay.
it's like the best
Put your foot back in there.
Okay.
Well, you guys
All right.
sound right.
You want anything?
Oh man, I could rewrite something right now. I could really do it.
What do you want?
Like,
You can get one. You can get one new item.
teacher.
Kind of specific.
Okay, well, okay. Would you rather
Okay,
try?
this is that one.
Does that mean
Can I go back on it?
No.
Okay. Would you want to?
Just be quick way to
Send the art room. I go get it. I'm not the
I don't
greatest
remember
at
reading.
prototyping.
I'm just offering to help.
Or stage
Write it
director.
down.
You good? Everybody good?
So,
All right, let's write. Rachel, let me hand you a laptop.
Alright, so I got it.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. This is our limited prep. Everybody had nearly an hour, or somewhere around the vicinity of an hour to write a play. First up is A Raspberry Squirrel by mostly Grace Lee Baumgartner and a little bit Stephen Vance. The characters are Layla, 26, and Harold, 72, and a cashier who we did not list in the stage directions. Setting: inside an ice cream shop on a Friday afternoon. Harold sits alone at a table in the corner of the ice cream shop with a single scoop of vanilla ice cream in a glass bowl and the New York Times Sunday crossword puzzle book. He works on the puzzle but struggles to focus, instead watching families walk down the boardwalk outside the window. Layla approaches, hand on the door handle, but seems unable to open the door and enter. A bell rings every time she inches it open and closes again. After seeing Harold watching her with a kind smile, she takes a deep breath and pushes inside.
Having some trouble there? I thought it was heaven when I came in, but
It's not too bad. I don't lift weights for nothing.
She almost flexes and stops because that would be embarrassing. She takes a step towards the counter but keeps her distance. She inches closer as she works up the courage.
I just wasn't sure if I wanted to come in or not.
trying to remember if you like ice cream or not.
Trying to decide if I wanted to brave it alone.
It's not too bad. I do it all the time.
I never have. I never really opened the door by myself before. My dad always used to do it for me. He'd always order something different for us to try too. He was the best.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make this harder for you. Has he been gone long?
Oh, no, he's still very much alive. He's just halfway across the country now. I just moved here for work. I never realized how many things I never had to do alone.
I am the cashier who has been waiting expectantly.
Ice cream is a good place to start. You get to decide yourself, and there are no bad choices, especially here. My Annie loves the raspberry swirl.
Is Annie your wife? It sounds like she has good taste.
No, she's my daughter. We used to come here all the time.
Can I help you?
Oh, yes. I'll have the raspberry swirl.
For here to go.
To go.
Come in right up. Have a seat.
Can I?
Please.
Layla takes a seat across from Harold. She catches sight of the crossword puzzle.
Oh my god, I've never been able to finish one of those before. You must be some kind of genius.
Far from it. But I have lots of practice. What brings you here?
Work. I'm a civil engineer. They brought me in for a new roadway design. People always want better access to the beach.
I've been reading about that. But you already mentioned you moved here for your job. What brings you here? You found the tiniest ice cream shop on the entire Jersey Shore.
The move is a harder adjustment than I had thought. We had a place like this back home that my dad used to take me to whenever I had a bad day. I thought some ice cream would help. But so far it's only made me miss home more.
That's understandable. My Annie felt the same when she left for college.
Where does she go?
Oh, that was years ago. She went to California, San Diego State. She's such a smart girl. She became a marine biologist.
California is worlds away. I'm only a day's drive from home and it feels like light years.
Annie felt that way too, but she adjusted. She found her own path. She likes being there. She likes the other coast.
Do you?
Like the other coast? Nah, nothing compares to...
No, do you mind her being that far away? Isn't it hard?
Sure, it was at first. I found myself being hateful to everyone. We still spoke every day, but it felt like she was gone. Grief is a funny thing like that.
I almost didn't take the job for that reason. I knew it would be hard on me, and the guilt of leaving my family was almost worse.
They know as well as I did that our daughters have to leave someday. It's our job to encourage them. Getting angry doesn't solve anything. It didn't bring Annie back here. It doesn't make her want to visit home more. It only made me and every poor person around me miserable. It was hard on me. I'm sure your dad isn't happy to see you go, but I'm sure he loves you. I know he must be very proud of you.
I know he is. I open my door myself all the time now.
The raspberry swirl is ready.
Thank you.
Layla gets up and begins fishing for her wallet.
Let me get it.
Oh, I couldn't.
Please, consider it done. I see my Annie quite a bit in you. I would be honored to buy her favorite again.
Thank you.
Searching for something else to say, then reaching out her hand to him.
I'm Layla.
Harold.
It was nice to meet you. I should go.
Then you've done it. You've opened your own door, ordered your own ice cream.
It was unbearable.
You're stronger for it.
Layla turns to grab her ice cream and begins to leave. As she does, she turns to see Harold has gotten up. He holds the door open for her with a smile as she leaves. The end. We're just going to do quick comments. Something you liked, something that was confusing, and then we'll move on to the next one. What's something you like?
I just like the wholesomeness of it all.
Very sweet, doesn't it? What do you got, Blair?
I like how she's like, I want to get ice cream, but I don't want it.
It's a very tough decision. Anything didn't make sense? Everything makes sense? Everything's clear? I like that question. Sorkin says to ask that question. Yeah, Rachel.
I like how you introduced the struggle of opening the door in the end and then showed at the very end how that was something that made her even stronger.
Yeah, I like that too. That was great. Good job wrapping it up and let's see which one I have handy next. I have Untitled by Rachel. So who do you need for this one?
I'll do Sheila, and since Olivia just went, could Gracie to do it?
Gracie, come on down. You can follow your drop to this machine too. Todd will figure that out in a minute.
Yeah, I don't know. But
Can I just use yours?
Yeah.
Mine, I don't know that mine does.
No, yours doesn't do that. Hit open up there. And Sheila, what's a good email? Or I can airdrop it to the lap, or you can just grab Rachel's laptop.
That'd be easier.
Yeah, because that's what she typed it on. Yeah, should be good as long as batteries last.
Who are we?
You are number 1 and you're number 2.
I wrote a story one time for a class and my characters were A and B. I did the same thing.
Yeah.
Stephen,
This-
would you be able to read this?
Yeah,
story?
I'll go. This is by Rachel Likens. It's called Untitled because that's what the document's saved as. 1, 40s to 50s. 2, 20s. 1 and 2 sit on a bench looking at the Ritter Park fountain facing the audience. Let's see. Should be like.
That's good.
All right. Yep. 1 and 2 sit on a bench looking at the Ritter Park fountain facing the audience.
Someone put bubbles in the fountain.
I think it looks nice.
It's just a hassle for the ground workers to keep up with.
It's just bubbles.
People are always making our lives harder
You don't know why they did it. Maybe it brings them a lot of joy.
at the expense of others.
I don't know.
Okay.
If it hurts someone else's time and efforts, it shouldn't bring them joy.
Maybe they just didn't realize.
Of course they realize, they had to realize that their actions have consequences.
1 and 2 sit in silence for a moment.
Is this just about the bubbles?
What do you mean?
I mean, we've lived here for years and we've never hated the bubbles this much.
Yes, it's about the bubbles.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
I'm sorry I didn't come home for his funeral.
1 is silent.
I don't know what to say. I wish I could have been there for it. What was it like?
Same as any other old funeral.
Okay, I see.
Why the sudden interest?
Oh, I didn't think it was sudden.
You could have been here to see it yourself.
I couldn't.
Why not? Are you not happy here?
No, it's not that.
Then what?
It's
You don't like us anymore?
what? It's complicated.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
I couldn't drop everything and leave. And I had just been in to visit a few weeks before. I wanted to come in, but I couldn't.
Okay. You say so.
What can I say or do to make this better?
You can take some responsibility.
Okay, what does that look like to you?
Cleaning up around the house, getting a job, being there for your family.
Okay. But you weren't exactly there for me either.
What?
You weren't there for me either.
What are you talking about?
I've been through difficult things in the last few years too.
Like what?
I don't want to get into it.
Why didn't you come home?
Because I didn't feel at home.
What?
You've treated me like I've forgotten you all completely. Whenever I come back home, you take it out on me.
Well, you've been gone for so long. How do you expect us to treat you?
Fountain bubbles up more.
Gosh, these bubbles.
I don't know.
What did they put in here? I mean, a whole gallon of Dawn dish soap?
I guess.
What have you been going through?
I think about you all the time. I know it seems like I'm heartless because I'm away, but I think about you all the time.
You changed.
I know.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so what now?
I visited his grave as soon as I got back.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh.
Fountain overflows with bubbles. They act like they don't notice.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry too.
I know this doesn't fix things, but I'd like for things to be better between us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, I've got a present for you.
Yeah.
It's waiting back at the house. Do you remember those things we used to play with? Jarts?
What'd you call it?
Jarts?
And why on earth would you get me that?
You love those.
That is the stupidest name I ever heard.
Yard darts.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Okay, I'll play with them.
Starts to rise.
Yeah? Yeah.
Scoops up a handful of bubbles. Blows them at 2. End of play. If you couldn't tell, her secret word was yards. Yards.
I couldn't figure out how to get it in there.
What were the
I
other
was.
prompts? What were the other prompts?
Gracie's prompts were ice cream shop,
Getting
New York,
angry never solves anything.
and New York Times crossword puzzle. Yours was Jarts,
Mine was Jarts,
the fountain.
a fountain in a park, and sometimes what you're looking for is already there.
Oh.
Jarts came up because I'm obsessed with Jarts. We used to have them when I was a kid. And it's a great way to air your alarm. For those that don't know, they're a dart that's like this long.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, you know. We throw them straight up in the air
Yeah.
to see how high we could get them, not realizing they can come straight back down on us. It's supposed to be kind of like horseshoes. I saw a set of them at a vintage shop not too long ago, and I was like, I am going to get those, and they were like $120. I was like, I am not. What did you like about that play?
I love the familiarity of the bubbles in the fountain. That is one of my favorites. I love whenever I see somebody's bubble in the fountain. I really do.
Well,
I would love and hate it.
I've never done it, but I've had friends that have been responsible for it too.
I have that friend.
And they use Tide.
All right, that was your guys' first read. What did you think of it?
Are they parent and child? Does it matter? Okay.
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah.
Everything makes sense? Did you actually pick somebody that had died, or was it?
My grandfather actually passed away.
Okay, grandfather. That was great, Rachel. Thank you. Let's see who else I have coming up.
Yeah, a little bit.
Olivia, who do you want up here in the seats?
I don't know. City cat.
Oh well, I'm pulling it up for the very first time, so let me see how that goes.
Give all the parts to
Tracy,
one person.
a girl. Brian, a guy.
Hold on, is it the one where the font is bigger? Because
Yeah, I can see a font. There is a font. Like, it's fine.
There is.
Well,
It exists.
it's great.
I fixed the end and.
She's over here cheating.
Nor complaint a girl, because I can airdrop it to you and that makes it easy.
Okay, sure.
And then guy at door. Chris, come read guy at door. And I'll read guy, I guess. Gracie, come read stage directions, if you will.
Okay, hold on.
Can I have yours?
I want
Yeah,
my.
I'm dropping it right now.
So I'm reading guy.
The guy at the door.
Hit that accept button up there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, overdo it.
Be Brian.
You want me to be Brian? Okay, alright.
All right.
Brian.
I'm gonna airdrop
You're a guy at door now.
Wait, the one I
What?
just
I'm a
said
guy.
should be it.
So who do you want Chris to be, Brian or a guy at door?
Brian.
Brian.
Okay.
Wait, what version are you? Okay.
A stock room, that's all I know.
Make sure you.
Okay, that's fine. That's right.
Let me see your computer. I'll read off this.
Try it.
Okay,
Or
yeah,
see what
that's
happens.
okay. Makes sense. Take
There it
it.
is.
Oh, it worked.
Decline.
So I'm guy at door now.
No.
Thank you.
There's a lot of versions of this play. We're not sure which version of the lore we're working on.
Yeah, right.
What's your prompts, Olivia?
Um,
A stock room of a retail store.
stock room of a retail store, duffel bag full of fortune cookies, and the quote was, "The best way to find out if you can trust someone is to trust them."
Anytime you're ready.
Stock rooms by Olivia. Tracy, a girl. Brian, a guy. Guy at door, one line. This takes place in the stockroom of a retail store, where seated Tracy, her coworker Brian, enters.
Yeah, it's really messed up.
Hey, everything okay back here?
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't happen to have seen a duffel bag anywhere back here, right?
A duffel bag?
Yeah, and like filled with fortune cookies.
No, I don't think. Have you?
No? But there was a note on the counter when I clocked in. Gary said someone was coming to pick up a duffel bag filled with fortune cookies, and that they were in the stockroom.
What?
I know. It's really weird, and it's worse because I can't find it anywhere. I don't know when or who is coming to pick it up. I'm just stressed out.
Okay, well, we'll find it. Just, did you look in the closet?
Why would it be in the closet?
I don't know. Why would someone order a duffel bag full of fortune cookies?
Because they really like fortune cookies?
Sifting through boxes and clutter deep into the closet.
Aha! I found it!
No way! Literally. Okay, why would he ever think I'd find it back there?
No clue. It doesn't look like it's really been touched in a long time.
Like your mom. I'm just kidding. I met her like twice. She's really nice. She made me cookies.
Hey, are you sure there are just fortune cookies in here?
Yeah, I mean, that's what the note said. Why?
Feels kind of heavy, like not fortune cookies.
Well, I don't think there's cameras in here. Let's open it.
Wait! A wise man once told me that the best way to find out if you can trust someone is to trust them. So I think that comes into play here. Okay.
These next two lines happen at the same time, jumbled conversation.
Told you that. That's
right.
really not a great quote. I don't like that quote. It doesn't really make sense at all.
I'm sorry.
No. I mean, it's fine. It's not that bad. Like, let's open the bag.
No. Yeah. Let's open it.
Brian drops the duffel bag in front of them. Dust rises in a cloud when the rough, heavy bag hits the floor. This does not resemble the weight of fortune cookies.
Maybe that's not the bag.
I mean, there's no other duffel bags back there.
They slowly open the bag to reveal fortune cookies.
Oh. Well.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Damn it, that's so boring.
Yeah.
This is so boring.
Yeah.
A stock room? Are you kidding me?
Wait, what?
Alfred Hitchcock said life is a movie with the boring bits cut out, and I'm trapped in the boring bit. And now I've really messed it up by making this lame meta thing. I can't even let an extension of myself fully live in fiction, but the real world isn't enough either. Maybe my lack of attention span coupled with society's increasingly growing ideas of perfection are driving me to a nihilistic point of view where I can no longer accept the cards I've been dealt. Maybe I don't want to play the cards anymore.
Okay, you lost me. But I understand. I mean, we can talk about it if you want.
That's really kind of you. But you're not real, so I get why.
Why am I not real? Why are you real and I'm not? If we're both fake, then what does that even mean? What does being fake matter if we're both fake?
There's a knock at the back door.
I'm here to pick up the fortune cookies.
So this is all about the cookies and the stock rooms?
A surprising amount of it, yeah.
The end, I guess.
What did you like about Olivia's play? Yes, Blair.
I loved how there's so many fortune cookies in the bag.
Nick, what did you love?
The bit of the existential breakdown is perfect.
That was me just running out of time. It's like, oh no.
I like that Chris Chambers wasn't credited anywhere.
She won't let me help her. She really won't. She's really iffy about it.
Everything makes sense?
None
of it makes sense. All right.
It did for a while.
I appreciated the existential crisis.
Thank you.
All right. Let's see what I got here from.
The existential crisis of time running out.
Actually, I didn't actually get
Very
Todd.
meta.
I just have a text that says Todd Alchemy Play.
Oh.
No.
You got Todd's out.
Maybe it's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Todd Alchemy Play.
Took an hour to write
So,
words.
what do we? Murdoch and Todd's all we have left. Is that right?
Well, I tried emailing it and it won't.
Next,
Yeah.
Yeah. Murdoch, who you want?
Steven. Airdrop is. Oh, maybe airdrop is turned on.
Let's give some weird iCloud message whenever you check it.
John Armstrong and Nora and Stephen and case you can read the stage directions, all the better. I've got 4 copies over there.
Oh, that's on here, maybe.
Oh, exciting.
Except,
Hey, have we done it?
open, maybe.
Haha!
You just sent the text via airdrop.
Jules and Fred.
Yeah!
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Battery running
Which
down,
one are we
so
doing?
that's gonna work. Let's do Murdoch first.
Okay.
If
There's paper copies
the
of that.
battery's running down, run that, do that.
Well, I'm gonna turn this while we're doing that.
Okay.
Just set them all out there, and I'll plug this in real quick.
Who's reading what?
I'm stage.
John is Morbly, Nora is Custard, Stephen is Darrell.
I get to read Darrell?
No.
Yes.
I'll make it. You go ahead and start the stage directions.
Morbly and Custard, 2 winged fairies, are walking together down a path. Ahead of them is a walking bridge with an imposing structure at the far end. It looks like it might hold a troll, or not. A rope ladder hangs down and off stage.
I have something to tell you. I love you.
Morbly takes a breath to speak, but Custard stops him.
It's too much, isn't it? I'm too much. I know I talk a lot and spend a lot of time flittering. Nobody likes a flitterer. I get that from my father's side. He and his family are big flitterers, and I thought maybe I wouldn't gain that trait, but I definitely did. I'm so sorry.
No, of course not. It's just.
Is it my wings? You don't like my wings. They're too veiny, right? I've always thought they were too veiny. No one likes veiny wings. It's gross. Not like barnacles gross, but like pretty gross nonetheless.
No, Custard,
It's not my dust, is it? My dust smells bad to you? I don't think that's an effect I can change. A fairy's dust is sort of the thing, you know, that, and it's not something I can control. I absolutely would if I could. I know it gets all over everything, and I'm constantly making messes, but I promise that the dust is only for you, and...
Custard, stop. Please. I love you too.
She looks at him for a moment, her mouth open a little. For a moment, she is lost. A silence. Then,
I can't believe it.
It's true.
Then why...
Because nothing is this easy, and there are troubles ahead.
Troubles?
At the end of this bridge is a toll booth.
On a walking bridge? That seems...
Like something from a fairy's tale?
Good point.
There is a particular troll that works in that booth.
Troll?
I'm afraid so.
Can it hurt us?
It could, but together,
Together we can overcome the troll?
perhaps.
pointing to the rope ladder.
Do you see that ladder?
Yes.
That ladder leads us to our new life, a life together. I brought us down this path on purpose.
Morbly, do you mean the ceremony?
I do, but first,
But first, the troll.
the troll. Will you join me? Will you find a way to the ceremony with me?
I will do anything.
Me too. Onward then.
Custard and Morbly walk up to the toll booth, and before they even arrive, the building begins to shake and a huge green troll squeezes out of a much too small door. His name is Darrell, pronounced Da-rel. He isn't mean so much as he's bored.
Fee-fi-fo-fum. From whence do these two fairies come?
Good Sir Troll, we wish to enter the ceremony.
No.
Please?
No.
Why not?
This walking bridge is where the unreal meets the real. No mythic folk are allowed to pass to the ceremony, as that means you would become human. And from this troll's perspective, there are plenty enough humans already.
But we are in love.
Yeah, me too. With life on this side of the world.
Surely there must be something we can do.
Perhaps. Don't call me Shirley.
I didn't.
My love, you said surely there must. He's making a very hilarious joke.
Oh, I see. Well, then, is your name, sir?
Darrell.
Hello, Darrell.
Hello.
Now, how may we cross the bridge?
Impossible.
Darrell, you said...
Trolls lie.
No!
I'm kidding, of course. You just need to answer my riddle. Normal troll stuff.
Right on. What is the riddle?
Voiceless, it cries. Wingless, flutters. Toothless, bites. Mouthless, mutters. What is it?
I don't...
Wind!
Ah, yep. Good one. On you go.
Yay!
That's it?
Sure. I mean, it's all make-believe, isn't it?
Good point.
Down you both go. Happy life.
Thanks, Darrell.
Good tidings to you.
To you as well. Happy humaning. Don't come back.
Excitedly, Custard and Morbly climbed down the rope ladder into the human world, completing the ceremony, and they lived happily ever after. Fade to black.
Let's talk about the kismet of Mike Murdoch's picking of the topics, because I could tell he got the troll bridge, or the toll booth bridge, walking bridge, and just happened to get the rope ladder too.
And it's all make believe, isn't it?
Which is a that is a Marilyn Monroe quote. All make believe. So, what did you like about Mike Murdoch's story?
Oh, so much sunshine for someone so grumpy.
Well played, Marilyn.
No argument here.
Anything else? Did anybody else like anything?
I just love the whimsy. Like, it instantly pulls you in, and you know exactly where this is. You can kind of see it all. You know, everybody has their own interpretations.
Rachel Bublitz says one time to get into the industry, write child stories, and he immediately I'm writing.
The board troll.
Everything.
I like the riddle from
Yeah, not even an original.
riddles are original.
No, I mean troll, like the troll himself, not original.
No,
Yeah,
of
I
course
couldn't
not.
have the original riddle in an hour.
Darrell, much love for Darrell.
It was great. Anything not make sense?
Where did the names come from besides Darrell? I know where Darrell came from.
Words I wrote down.
When I first saw Custard, I was like, oh, this will be
He just
clue.
looks at a menu.
Oh.
I thought
That's not
Custard's
Morbly,
last
is it?
stand.
I thought of pudding.
Well, thanks. That was great. I'm gonna try to pick Nick Booth's. I had it a second ago. Now I can't find it. To be titled and extended, The Journey of David. Who do you need? Donald and David?
What?
Who do you need for Donald and David?
Donald, there's also Marley. Sorry about that. I would like Rachel for Marley. Can I get Mike for Donald? And can I have John for David?
Sure. Let me figure out how I'm going to get all these people.
Do you want me to? He can use mine if you want to.
Sure. Let me figure out how to share it. As he said, Google Doc, which makes it.
Oof.
Yeah.
I tried. I had it in Word, and then apparently there's a bad data keeping.
Nice. Okay.
Rachel like 15 years ago.
Rachel, go
You
ahead.
met Rachel like 15 years ago. I did. Where? I don't know, Maya. I was.
All right. Here's Nora's. Rachel, unlock, and I'll airdrop it to you. I'm sorry. There's yours.
I'm sorry.
Nora, I dropped it to you.
Oh, shoot. No, try it again.
Sorry, I made it awkward.
All right.
Sorry.
I'm gonna try it again. Is that the right one?
Yeah, I
I don't know.
I exaggerated.
Didn't come across in your notification center yet?
Not yet. Hang on. Let me decline it on here.
Yeah, do that.
Okay, let's try again. Nope. Fine. Stop it. Okay.
Numbers are hard. Stop.
Password. Yeah. It's not super clear.
You absolutely are.
Got it. All right, John.
Yep.
Let's do this thing. Should work. Sure, got turned on. There it is. That should pop up immediately. Pop up. Make sure your airdrop's on for everybody.
You're pausing.
From everyone.
Comics on.
Do it from everyone. That's it.
I guess I don't know you, Steven. Sorry.
Does anyone ever true?
Alright. Let's try one more. Does not like that. Just give me a good number.
Okay, 304 939 03.
One act, right? Maybe I'll write.
Now, let's see words.
Right. The guy who's gonna jump off the roof, right? He's gonna be talked at his entire base.
That might be a lot.
That he's a determinist.
Yeah.
He thinks that every action that he does is already like made. Like it's whatever. So he's just gonna do that. It's going to be his choice. And then I'm gonna go from there, having the other explain it. I want it with them just happily sitting on the edge of the building.
Maybe.
It works. Didn't seem to open anywhere though. Travel.
Part of the game.
Yeah, exactly. Just for something to be. Yeah.
More time.
I plan on just making a ton of stuff.
Don't send stuff to me.
Just jamming it all together in one thing. And it's all just like not very good and seeing what I can do from that.
Can't all sit in front of this heater.
No, some of us sit in front of this.
Likewise.
Pretty fun so far.
Yeah.
I just want to say to everyone who is reading.
Let's just do some.
Hit share right there.
For both the file sharing and the way it was written. I tried to be slightly better about grammar.
Oh no, my secret.
Oh,
So
I used to, and then it would say it's in areas where it should just be it. And I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm good. Ooh. Can't see that.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Using so many times.
all right, now I can. There's people. I see everybody. All right, there we go. All right, I sent it to Laura Armstrong for some reason. You don't need it, but I sent it. Craig Dillon's got it. All right, everybody's got everything.
Everyone can have it.
Do you have it?
I have it. Just can't share it apparently. All right. Everybody know what you're playing? Cause
I'm Marley.
Yes.
All right.
David.
Yes.
To be titled and extended, The Journey of David by Nicholas Booth. David walks towards the shack in the middle of nowhere. The shack is disheveled and swarmed with bugs. David limping toward the shack and heaving is obviously tired from travel. He rests on the side of the shack and it seems he is about to sleep. And as he is closing his eyes, Donald creeps out of his hut with a shotgun or hunting rifle. Donald speaks with a high-pitched southern twang and is always cheery as opposed to David, who speaks like the actor who plays them, but with a more performative voice put on.
Hey there!
Good God! Wait! You're real? Sir, you have to help me. I'm stranded.
You're telling me this is the last rest stop for 137 miles?
There is a pause as David looks at the rundown shack that some could confuse with a majorly oversized outhouse or a tool shed.
A rest stop?
Yep. We have a bathroom. Don't use it at all. We also have snacks.
Donald takes smushed little Debbie cream pie out of his back pocket and throws it at David.
Free of charge.
David, face burnt and obviously tired, tries to close his eyes and rest. Donald does not agree.
Also have some car napkins.
Please, would you...
David stands and put his finger to Donald's lips, shushing.
Shut up. I'm going to go to sleep now. You have been very helpful.
No, I don't think so. That's how they always die.
I'm not dying, though. I've been walking for 2 days straight with nothing of civilization in sight. I'm going to sleep now.
Well, all right.
David closes his eyes.
Well, there goes another one. Marley, bring him to the hole.
A young woman in a nice dress comes out smiling and grabs the man ushering him off. After a few seconds, there's a bang sound, then screaming from off stage. Marley re-enters.
Hey, cheapskate. Can I get a raise now? Body dragging ain't all it cracked up to be.
Fine. Don't you go telling your mama now. She said you gotta work for it.
All right, old timer. How much am I making?
$3.
Marley and Donald start doing a funny little jig and cheering. At this point, the screaming subsides.
What are you gonna do with $3 a day, though?
Now very dusty and disheveled, David crawls back on stage and lies on his back, breathing heavily.
I don't know. I guess I could buy a Coke from the station fridge.
David makes a noise while standing, causing Donald and Marley to look at him.
There is no way you have a fridge in there. None of this is even remotely real. I'm going to keep walking now.
Ah, shoot. You know they call that something like automatic response. He's still dead. Throw him back in.
Marley faces David. David shakes his head no. Marley picks him up again and we hear screaming for the first time. Then we hear a thud. Then we hear an odd, pained, high-pitched moan, much akin to the one you'd imagine you do if someone dropped an anvil in you or shoved a nail through your foot.
Can I have my money now?
I said 3 dead bodies, not 2 and a resurrection.
Marley kicks the ground and pouts.
Fine. I'm gonna have to tell your mama about this.
No, please don't.
Marley gets down and pleads. The screeching moan discontinues.
Oh, fine. I won't.
She gets up and shakes his hand as David crawls slowly back to the other side of the stage. Marley, without saying a word, picks him up and takes him off stage again.
No, please don't do it.
Dead person says what?
There's a horrible scream, deep thud and crack, followed by a terrible squeak squill that stops soon after it begins. During this, Donald chuckles and stands there looking in the direction Marley went off.
Ah, dead people.
Marley enters and goes back to Donald and looks down the road David came from.
Is that there one of those cop cars?
Nah, they're blue and white.
Police officer approaches and enters stage. Have you seen someone come through here?
Not at all.
David crawls on and gasps before saying,
I intend to live forever or die trying.
Marley picks him up and throws him back in. The end. What did you like?
I like how he come back to life. That was pretty cool.
Nothing. I like nothing.
Yes, Blair.
I like Mark Murdoch's voice.
Did everything make sense
Sort of.
in this world that we're in?
What were the prompts?
Oh, my prompts. They were
You got 'em all in?
the last rest stop for 137 miles, car napkins, and I intend to live forever or die trying.
Nice.
At the very end, I
Roger.
can't find a place for that.
Well done, everybody. And now it's time for our final play of the evening that I actually do have somewhere. I just found it and then lost. Oh, it's on that laptop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like in the month of July.
Yeah. Yep.
Todd, John, do you know who you want for your cast?
Use that.
Who do you want to read?
When I get a car, I'm gonna go to Taco Bell a lot and then just reach at the bottom where they just pack those.
But don't fill it with
They
stuff.
yeah, they are conservative.
Everybody knows the part.
I just thought it was a special thing. It's very, it's got plenty of crap. So that's the thing, I'm missing my rental car. I'm in a rental car and
I'll do stage direction.
Yeah, I think that's great.
Okay.
What do you got for casting, Todd?
Okay. Rachel is Jules. Nick is Fred. Chris is security guard. You have one line.
All right.
And then Stephen will be the announcer.
Okay.
And I'll sit here, and since there's 4 chairs, I'll sit here and read the stage direction.
Okay. Chris, you can copy off me.
Yeah.
I should write your
I'll just read over.
I'm you sitting there waiting expectantly. I'll see if I can.
And Blair, you will figure out Blair played an important part in this one.
oh, very exciting.
So, I see Todd, I don't see Rachel's yet.
An iPhone 2.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
Oh, I could read this on my phone. Yeah. Okay. I think my phone is almost dead.
Yeah, you can look at
My
mine.
phone is dead.
All right, you can look at this one then if you want.
All right.
All share together.
All right.
Yeah.
Very cozy.
Everybody ready?
Whenever you're ready.
Okay. First date. Jules, Fred, security guard, and announcer. And Jules and Fred sitting in his car on a date after a Hall & Oates concert in 1985.
That was some concert. What was your favorite song?
I like them all. So many to choose from, but I kind of like Man Eater.
That's a good song, but I like Sarah Smile best.
Yeah, it's a good song. I'm gonna keep this ticket stub from the concert as a memento.
I'll keep mine too.
Awkward silence.
Hey, buddy, move or be moved.
Sorry about that, sir. We'll move.
Let's turn on the radio, see if something good is on.
Okay.
Fred turns on radio. Initially, the Power of Love plays, then there is static. An announcer comes on.
We interrupt this program with some very important news. We have word that there is a zombie occurring in our city. I repeat, there is a zombie outbreak occurring. Everyone is urged to go to a place of safety. We now return to our regular scheduled program.
Thriller now plays on the radio. Fred and Jules look at each other in panic.
Where should we go?
I don't know.
We have to leave here now. How about Chi-Chi's?
Okay. Oh, they're closed. Well, we can go to Tudor's.
Oh no, they're closed too.
We have to think of something right now.
Awkward pause. Fred and Jules look at each other together, say,
Applebee's. They're open.
They're open.
Fred tries to start the car, but it won't turn over.
It won't start.
Did you put gas in the car before we left for the concert? Or?
Of course I put gas in the car.
Fred checks gas gauge. Fred tries to start again. It still won't turn
It
over.
still won't start.
Calm down. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Give it a second, try again.
We won't make it.
Pop the hood and I'll check.
Where's the hood opener? I can't find it.
It's right there.
Fred opens the hood and Jules gets out to check the engine. After a few seconds,
Try it now.
Fred turns the key and the car starts. He starts to drive off.
I think you forgot something.
Oh, sorry about that.
Fred and Jules drives to Applebee's. Awkward silence.
That was a close call. I was really worried.
That was a really great concert. I'm glad you asked me to go.
We are facing death, and all you can talk about is the concert?
Man up, Fred. We'll make it to Applebee's.
Awkward silence.
I can't tell if those are zombies or not in the road.
There's one there. Run over it.
Thud.
Oh, that was a close call.
There's another one.
Fred turns the wheel to run over the zombie. There is a scream and a thud.
Oh, I guess that wasn't a zombie. Oops.
Radio plays, another one bites the dust.
I see the sign. We're almost there.
Other people have had the same idea. There's quite a crowd. I hope we can find a place to park.
They pull into the Applebee's parking lot.
Safe at last. Thank God for Applebee's.
I'm hungry. I would like something to eat.
Would you like an appetizer with your meal?
Boneless wings.
I want a burger with fries.
We'll have to have a chocolate lava cake.
Shall we go in?
Fred and Jules enter Applebee's just like nothing has happened. The end.
I don't know how much Applebee's is paying.
I'm going to open with Todd could write everything that he ever writes, and if he puts chocolate lava cake in it, we will know that he has had his.
That's right.
his thumbprint.
I had to put that in there.
Good Lord.
What did you guys love?
The song choices.
Great.
Yes.
That's gonna be the most expensive short play to produce.
I love I love how it becomes an ad for Applebee's. That's wonderful.
Tell them what your prompts were.
Applebee's parking lot.
Nice.
Ticket stub for Hall or an Oaks concert. Move or be moved.
Yeah, well, everything makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for being here and being a part of this. I wish we could do stuff more like this all the time, but we honestly have no other time. So if we don't plan a festival, we're not getting to play. So it means a lot to me that you guys came here and did this today, because as artists, I think whether we're on stage, off stage, behind the stage, wherever it is, all of this is important. And hopefully it makes us appreciate what authors do. Maybe it sparks some interest in somebody and gets them writing some more. Mike Murdoch, the artistic director of Alchemy Theatre, do you have anything else to say before we wrap up for the day?
No, I just echo all those things. I think, again, like New Works is so important for writers and actors and everyone. It's important to cultivate that side of the arts and what we're doing, and thank you all for participating and braving the weather. I mean, it's been a real shitty couple of days, so being here and being able to do this has made it all better. So thank you for helping us all through that and for being part of it.
And being here as accounts receivable, got to take in some checks. Thank you all. Have a great week. Don't worry about anything in here. We'll take care of it.